Really kind of the story. Young Glory completely controlled the objectives. I think they were 4 for 0 for Dragons before the 20-minute mark. Like, that's pretty hard to do. And we're going to go ahead and talk about MVPs. They gave it to Yancer, had a 90% kill contribution, running around everywhere, making the plays happen, finishes the game 3-2-8. So an impressive score there. If you had to give a second MVP, I'd say you give it to Yin Fu. That guy had crazy engages, the likes of which EDG were just unprepared for. So, gotta turn things over to Nero here to give your analysis. What went so well for Young Glory in Game 1?
Well, maybe let's not only talk about the kill contribution and Janser just making everything happen. He was the one to tank everything up. I don't know if you remember the bottom lane fight where he was the only one to soak up the damage from the shockwave. He was always in the front line just defending his team, and that was the key thing that gave him the MVP. He was just there to make Young Glory just win the game. And what went so well for them? Of course, it is just their worst members stepping up their game to be the best members, actually. Because what Zhenlong and #1 were able to do in this game is just incredible. Diangun was there, of course, but he was kind of at the level of his other teammates. He wasn't the best, biggest guy in the team. Finally, because Young Glory were struggling with that.
Right, well, speaking of the biggest guy on the team, the pick and ban phase went so well for Young Glory. They got just about everything they wanted. Like, they got the Kog'Maw pick, which is, in the absence of Lucian, something that come on. Zhenlong. I always forget his names because they have Chinese characters, so I have to remember them. But Zhenlong, yeah, he got his Kog'Maw. And more importantly, speaking of big man, top lane Gragas for #1 just showed up that fight. There were 2 or 3 fights where Young Glory would just kite away from EDG, and then #1 would still be at full health, so they'd put everybody who was low health behind #1 and just re-engage the fight, and it worked out so well. You can see big smiles there on the EDG, or on the Young Glory faces. They know they may not have earned the title Legend Killers just yet, but they are well on their way to turning upsets off the top 4 teams in LPL.
And it's just incredible. Setting us up for the next game. Young Glory definitely are looking for a 2-0 victory over Edward Gaming. And that would place them quite well in the standings. They will be chasing LGD. They will be chasing Invictus Gaming. And that would be a fun thing to see if they jump over the first lineup of Invictus Gaming, because they are the sister team.
All right, now coming into game number 2, picks and bans. It's Young Glory in the blue, Edward Gaming in the red. And honestly, Young Glory, there are 2 big things I'm looking for here. I gotta say, Gragas is a big one, and then also I want to see the Skarner out of Yin Fu. I feel like his ability to engage is really what's started a bunch of team fights that Young Glory have won, and especially yesterday versus World Elite, it destroyed the mid lane. And honestly, the mid lane is what makes or breaks a lot of games for Young Glory. They counter pick it a lot, they make sure that they gank it a lot, and that is a strategy that Yinfu has done extremely well. Whether it's just pushing, whether it's ganking, he's on top of things. But for Edward Gaming, what are they looking for here in this picks and ban phase? You can see now the Gragas drawing the last ban. No more Gragas for #1.
Yeah, that is interesting. You brought up Skarner to the table, and he was actually banned in the previous game, so now it gets left out open. And now we do have the first pick coming out from Young Glory. This is definitely going to be an interesting picks and bans phase, because I'm just interested in what Diangun will decide to pick right here. Once again, the Yasuo ban coming out right there, so he will not secure this champion, but the same goes for you. He will not have Ziggs. Able for the taken.
I want to see if we see any more of those big move speed compositions coming out well, really either team. You got KL, you got Lulu. They both do that, and we're actually going to drop out a champion select here just a second, as it does appear as if Yenfu is maybe having a few issues with his computer. So we'll get him all back and situated and everything ready to go for him. Just going to go ahead and talk about the way picks and bans are working out so far. So big respect bans, the Yasuo and the Gragas, 2 of Young Glory's strongest champions. Those are taken out. But what big power picks are left open for Young Glory?
Well, they definitely want to grab this Kog'Maw, but well, we'll see. Actually, just to talk about the issues that are happening, it is not Yinfu who is having problems. It is Clearlove, and once again, this guy is just making LPL start late every single time.
Diangun's like shaking his keyboard. It's like there's stuff stuck inside. I don't know what's up with that, but yeah, Clearlove. If you guys remember from yesterday, I believe it was Clearlove who had issues yesterday too with his hardware. So he has been on the leading edge of several technical difficulties. We'll see if he can get his resolved here tonight.
Yeah, and we'll get to see what Young Glory just decide to pick up right here. Of course, they will want to get this Braum once again. They will want to get this Kog'Maw, especially since Genlong is just feeling so well on this champion. And this guy, he wasn't doing too well throughout the whole split. Now he steps up. Now number one steps up. Actually, number one got a MVP for the yesterday's game too. So that is a big thing for these guys to be at the top of the level.
Yeah, I wish we could see the MVP point scores out here on the screen. Sometimes they show those up there. Because Young Glory been picking up a bunch of those off their last 3-4 wins. So we'll see, especially number one. Like, he grabs them out a lot there, but Yanser, of course, took the last one. So as Clearlove gets back into the game, EDG looking to come back in there. I think the biggest thing to see about the bans is that EDG are actually adjusting their bans. They're trying to counter out this big strategy, trying to get things back where they need to be. Whereas Young Glory just kept the same bans. They're pretty happy with the way things are going. So big things to talk about as we hop back into Champion Select here. Mid lane has been what makes or breaks it for Young Glory, and that's off both the mid and the jungle picks. So really exciting to see what Young Glory go for there. And maybe they had like missed champion picks here, so we're going to get a confirmation on exactly what was picked last time.
Yeah. What it is and what it was and everything like that. But yeah, Diangun, he definitely has a lot of champions in his pool, so you can never predict what he's going to pick. That is the real issue, but that Braum is gonna get taken away. So, well, there's still Kog'Maw.
Is it the Skarner? Yes, it is. Oh my goodness, I was dreaming about this. I was like, hey, if I want to see one champion played by Yinfu, play Jarvan first time, but now it's the Skarner. It did so well versus World Elite yesterday, and there's a Kog'Maw again for Genlong. So everything that Young Glory could possibly want, maybe with the exception of Gragas and Yasuo, of course, those were both banned out. Edward Gaming, they're hovering over Rammus. I don't know if that's okay, but Name might be locking in a Lucian. Grabs it down there, so Lucian versus Kog'Maw as far as AD carries are concerned.
And, well, Genlong just doesn't decide to go for this Lucian anymore. Maybe he's scared of him after the nerfs, but well, still, he's quite a strong AD carry. But yeah, Kog'Maw is definitely much stronger, and is definitely much more comfortable for Genlong for the taking right here. And Rengar once again for Edward Gaming. So we'll get to see how they will be able to pull off the combos this time around.
Well, as far as combos are concerned, this is a much less of a wombo combo kind of team comp from Edward Gaming, and more just very individually strong champions. Some good move speed, some good engage here, but this mid lane pick is what's really going to solidify it for Edward Gaming, because they know they're going up against a Zed, and oh, that's actually going to be mid lane Lulu if this Irelia pick is actually locked in. And you can see Koro kind of telegraphing that. He actually hovered over Irelia before he went back to the Lulu pick, so probably going to be a mid lane Lulu for you. And an Irelia top lane, well, probably not directly versus number one's Kale, but as far as solo laners are concerned, nice to see an Irelia pick. Not something I've seen out here in a while, but still a very strong top lane pick, and something you don't that isn't necessarily completely new in LPL.
Yeah, we do have one player in specific who likes to play Irelia and Jax a lot, but it is not Koro1, so
exactly.
It will be interesting to see what he brings into the mix with this pick. And we do have a Leona alongside with the Kog'Maw, so just as he said in the previous game, it is either Braum or Leona who can tank up everything so well, and the answer just goes for the other pick now that he misses this Braum.
It's true, and honestly, his Leona has been banned against him so much. Like, honestly, his pick of Braum was something that was kind of in place of the Leona in game number 1, but now he is actually on one of his strongest champions as he does grab that out. So Excited to see what looks like an incredibly strong lineup from Young Glory again, coming out of the pick and ban phase. Looking good. Edward Gaming, they're down 1 game, which is not a position that very many people thought. Only one of the commentators gave Young Glory the 1-1. Everybody else was expecting stomps here for EDG. So we're going to hop into a quick little break before we hop into our second game of the night. So don't go anywhere. Stick around. Got game 2 coming your way in just a minute. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the LPL, of course, broadcast in English here on Twitch TV. My name is Rapid, I'm here with Nero, and we're out into game number 2, Young Glory, with a 1-game lead over Edward Gaming. It's the top versus the bottom as far as the standings are concerned, but Young Glory, they're turning everything on their head, getting ahead in a lot of respects. Edward Gaming don't want to have World Elite Syndrome and start going on these O2s versus Young Glory, but I think they've got other plans as YG come out of game 1 looking strong, trying to continue with basically the same strategy they had earlier on, just with a very deep invade into the enemy jungle, looking to ward it out.
Yeah, so Young Glory just coming out of the last spot in the LPL. First of all, takes a tie against OMG, then takes a 2-0 against World Elite, and now they're looking for a 2-0 against EDG. These guys are just incredible. And on the other hand, we have a monstrous team made out of all the stars in China, and these guys have beaten OMG 2 times 2-0 in this split already, so they are definitely a big team to beat. And Young Glory, they didn't really have any big problems doing that in the first game. And especially right now, they do have a Skarner that Invictus Gaming carried the game with yesterday. So we'll get to see what it manages to do.
Well, not just Invictus Gaming. I mean, Young Glory played Skarner yesterday too and still did very well with it in their first game versus World Elite. So expecting big things from Skarner. More importantly, like I was talking to a couple of friends of mine who are big World Elite fans about the 2-0, and they're just like, well, you know, every team loses against every other team sooner or later. It's just a fluke, you know, it's not going to happen again. But really that takes away from how Young Glory won not only their games yesterday, but even their game here tonight, just with great strategic plannings, a brilliant pick and ban phase, and now because of that very deep ward up in the top lane, Young Glory actually get the 2v2 matchup in the top lane, not going to split early for this 1-on-2.
Yeah, and that definitely favors them a lot, especially having this Kog'Maw, this comfortable pick on Zhenlong, and having this Leona once again on Yancer on a very beastie champion right there. He will be soaking up the damage. He will be dealing the damage too, as we have seen yesterday also. Kitties with a lot of Leona damage in the early stages of the game.
So as far as the 2v2 is concerned, this is actually something that should go relatively in favor of Lucian. It's very difficult to out-trade him early on. But Kog'Maw can just stay passively, or stay back passively. Interesting to, at least for me, to see Yinfu waiting for so long, as it doesn't look like there are any immediate opportunities for aggression in the top lane. He just goes back to farming his camps. You'll notice he actually almost always skips the white camp, just because Skarner is an area of effect jungler, so you want to go for things like wolves and rays over and over again.
Yeah, so as you said, he is not gonna find an opportunity in the top lane, but that's what I also wanted to point out, that this Skarner is also helping his team a lot. Yinfu is just such a great jungler. Mostly he focuses around the middle lane just to get Dangun fed, and right now he's sitting on a Zed, so that will be a good thing if he does this in this game too. But yeah, as you said, the lane matchup is a little bit more favorable for Lucian, but we have Yinfu, this very aggressive jungler, so he may want to find something in the top.
Now Rengar's going to walk over a ward. Mid lane there, we've got a bunch of pressure here coming to use way. I don't think he's ready for this. Now he is positioned to the opposite side of the lane, so that's about the best spot he can be in. But now might be in a little bit of trouble as runs his way away. Great positioning there by Yu. He was all the way on the opposite side of the map, so or on the opposite side of the lane, so he was very, very safe from that two-man gank. Young Glory putting the pressure mid, as they are very well known to do. Engaged, though, as Janser gets a little bit further out than he wanted to. Takes a lot of pain for it. Jumping again, though, there's the counter gank mid. It's actually Zed trying for the juke here. Diangun knows he's about to die there, but tries to get the damage off onto Clearlove. Can't do it. The 5 stacks of that ferocity give him a nice little heal that keeps him alive. And first blood goes to EDG.
Yeah, Clearlove was around this area, always in the jungle. He was in the enemy's backlines. So that's a really nice first blood going EDG's way. And yeah, a lot of good jukes there too. That gives a little bit of confidence to Young Glory, but they still lost the first blood. They need to struggle a little bit more. And especially right now, they do not have this duo lane in the bottom, so they will not get the early dragons as they got in the previous games.
Now, Korra does a great job baiting number one in. Number one went in for some melee CS, and Korra really punished him for it. But that almost wind up getting Korra killed as Yinfu came in there, still able to dodge out the gank. And now we're looking for the second round of ganks coming up top lane.
Yeah, definitely, and we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. I definitely am a fan of this Young Glory's lineup. Right now, as Zhenlong just started to step up his game, I do want to see him winning against the best AD carries in China.
But look, it's a perfect roam here. Zed's right on time. It's a 3-on-3, and you can see Name is immediately out of there. Not going to find too many places to go as Zed's able to find the kill. But it is going to be a 1-for-1. AD carry, though, traded for support.
Well, it's hard to decide in whose favor it is right now, but definitely both teams will get a little bit off of this exchange.
The re-engage, though, nobody expects the Zed Inquisition coming up top lane, taking down Clearlove. I kind of thought there was a truce up top lane. They're like, all right, we killed some people, everybody go back to their lanes. But then Diangun just turns right back around and is like, you're still overextended, I can still kill you. Sounds like a good plan to me. So goes to top lane, finds himself a second kill. Well, not himself a second kill, but you know, sometimes we'll see like triple dagger builds on champions like Vayne. This is a triple longsword build coming out of Diangun, and every single one of them being put to use. He's coming back in again onto Name, finds the damage, the death mark's gonna pop, and he gets the second kill. Oh my gosh, he's just camping this top lane out. Pitched his tent, he's got a campfire up there, he's roasting some s'mores and roasting champions too. 1-1 off of 3 kills top lane overall.
And this is just beautiful, and we have seen this build of 3 longswords coming out of the LCS a long time ago. I haven't seen it for a long time too, but yeah, here we go. Diangun, just such a good player, getting 3 kills overall. Of course, securing 1 for his AD carry, but he was the one to make all the 3 kills happen for Young Glory right there in the top lane. And even though they lost the first blood, even though they lost the first kill in the fight in the top, they don't really care. Once again, they come out on top. And yeah, they will be looking for some turrets right now for some global gold. So, well, I don't think that they will go for the dragon, but that still also is an opportunity for Young Glory, and they are looking so good right now, especially with Zhenlong getting this 1 kill and 1 assist that helps him out a lot, and especially with Diangun once again getting fed. He's the one to carry the team.
Clearlove now level 6, gonna stealth himself up there, looking for the perfect opportunity to go in, but immediately Janser senses something's up. He's gonna get snared out there by the bolo, but the burst turned back onto Clearlove. He's gonna take a ton of damage. It's actually gonna be a kill for Kog'Maw. Now he's looking to turn things back around onto Name, dodge away from there from the living barrage, but it's actually gonna get the damage down. The Acathian Surprise is gonna kill off Name. He gets the 2-for-1 in a 2v1 or in a 2v2 or in a 2v3 rather. Just incredible play there by by Zhenlong, and now Diangun's top lane pushing FZZF away from the turrets. So I mean, what is you doing? He's standing mid, he's trying to clear out the waves, but it's number 1 who's rotated to be a new mid laner and really just leaving Koro by himself, and he's not really forcing the issue. Now a rotation from the dual lane down bottom to try to take out, well, a lot of pressure on the bottom lane and maybe set up for a dragon.
This is just incredible. Zhenlong was able to hit all of the Bio-Arcane barrages. This is just impossible to hit, especially against a Lucian, a mobile AD carry, and he did hit all of them. A little bit of help from his jungler, and he still secures yet another kill. He will be getting this Trinity Force quite quickly in the game, and this might be really scary for EDG. Just look on the other hand, Name, considered the best AD carry in China, and maybe even in the world right now, sitting on 0-3, just getting completely destroyed by Young Glory.
And it's not just Name that's getting destroyed. It's his duo lane, which is arguably the best duo lane in China. Maybe, you know, OMG or Starhorn have that in the... I'm not going to give too many compliments to Starhorn. I know they still have a lot to prove for themselves, too. And we'll get to see that later on. But theoretically, no team should be losing to Young Glory. They're at the bottom of the standings, have huge issues, but just this week, like, they've taken games off of OMG, EDG, World Elite. Like, is nobody safe? Like, where is their like, sacred honor to, like, let the best teams win and stay down there? They're turning things around. Looking incredibly strong here. The Zed roam is so effective. The Kog'Maw damage just perfectly microed and able to find himself kills up top lane. I don't know what to say, just everything working out for Young Glory. And now off of their rotation down bottom lane, they switch the duo into the 2v1, get an advantage there, and then rotate for the Dragon. First Dragon going their way at 10.5 minutes.
Yeah, so I said that due to the lane swap, they will not be getting the early dragons, but they still get the first one. It's not so early, but still is the first one in their favor. They do get the gold lead, quite a big one. And yeah, just talking about Young Glory, it's unbelievable. They pull off a tie against the bottom team, World Elite Academy, then a tie against LGD. It's not much of a big deal, but then they come out with a 2-0 over World Elite and a 2-0, most probably, over EDG. But we'll get to see how it goes. This time around. It still might be a tie, but it is already so impressive from Young Glory.
Ult used by Koro1 just to try to keep his turret alive, and there's FCCF for some support, so I don't know what to say. Koro's just been trying to hang on for dear life down bottom. He gave up pressure around Dragon. The dual lane actually stayed top for a long time for EDG, even after they lost their turret. And now they're actually just farming the jungle. Here's Tiankun is roaming way up there. Oh, Skarner's coming in. He's got the move speed down. Needs to dodge this Glitter Lance. He actually gets the flash in. There's the death mark. But we've got Rengar coming in. Clearlove's there for the counter gang. And oh, Skarner's just going to get massacred. You does die. No, he's the summoner heal in the shield. Okay. I've regained my manliness after an incredible turnaround. Edward Gaming. That's what I'm expecting to see. Turn the gank around mid. Perfect positioning by Clearlove.
Yeah, there's no Lux in this game and you're still losing your mind in the fights, but it was just so close. And DG just bringing it back, but you...
Here's Yancer, though, making the big triple stun plays. Immediately, Yu's gonna drop down there. 1 down, 2 down. Where's the further kills? It looks like Koro's in a horrible spot. He's in a horrible spot, as it were. The Voidu's gonna get the slows down there. I don't care how much burst you got. Koro is not gonna find his way out of that one alive. A 3-for-0 exchange off the 2-for-0 Young Glory. They're like, hey, EDG, we heard you guys can turn fights around. Well, anything you can do, we can do better. And off the back of that, they will keep their turret alive and take down the mid turret. Edward Gaming, I was just starting to congratulate them, but right as I do say something, Yancer lands a triple stun from his ultimate and then just follow-up damage for days. Young Glory still looking good.
Alright, so you say that EDG can turn the fights around, but it was all about the mid laner, AD carry, and the jungler. And now just a support single-handedly turns around the fight, gets 2 kills for himself. No problem, Yancer once again working for the MVP for this game, just as in the previous one as a Braum.
I'm never going to congratulate either one of these teams, because right as I say they're doing really well, they just like lose a team fight super hard, so... At this point in the game, you can only look to Young Glory as being maybe weak individually. A nice pick there off of some over-aggression from Yinfu as he came in for a gank. But together as a team, they're just firing on all cylinders. That triple stun from Yancer just looked beautiful. I'm sure like Xpecial and other professional supports just look at that and they're just like getting a little bit too happy, if you know what I mean. Stuff like that is just the dream for every support. starting fights and finishing them off, or having the rest of the team there to finish them off. And Young Glory, like their traditional team comp is designed around just like maybe they lane swap pretty consistently, and then they'll gank mid a lot and try to counter pick it and champion picks and bans. It's not really something that takes a lot of thought to put into it, but over the game 1 versus World Elite yesterday, and especially this game number 2, they've just gotten completely better picks. The dual lane especially this game looks incredibly strong.
Yeah, and the supports are just, you need to hit the ultimates, the Solar Flare or the Glacial Fissure, as you see, and that's why Sona was so massive for such a long time. Just crescendos with the heals, with additional damage and move speed for your whole team was just incredible. But right now is the era of the tanky supports, and that's why we do have a Braum or a Leona coming out in this game. But still, the ultimates from the supports are so massive, and they don't usually get the credit. But right now, that was just...
Koro was, he was like, all right, I'm Kale, I'm just going to intervention myself. Oh, wait, that was last game. This time around, Aurelia had no options against the Skarner-Kale combo. Skarner getting enough CDR to keep his ult up almost always, and every time it's up, he goes for kills and goes for Kales in the top lane and helps number 1 find that kill onto Koro. Take back what I said about CDR. It doesn't actually have any of that, so basically just waiting for the skill to go off cooldown.
Yeah, and it just looked so funny. Like Koro stunned up the Skarner, but Scar was like, no, 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 you're not going anywhere. Impale, come back to my Kale. And we will get another kill in the top lane. 9-6 right now in favor of Young Glory. That is just looking so great for them. 2-0 in turrets too, so that gives them a lot of control.
It's not just an Impale, it's an Impale, because the top laner. Trying a little bit too hard for that one. I promise I'll do better next time. Don't fire me yet. We got big duo lanes matching up in the bottom, but something tells me this is what Yancer wants. He's looking for the Zenith Blade, and you can see Name gets chunked down to half off that Bio Arcane Barrage. Holy hell, you can see that Trinity Force really starting to hit hard. And somewhat confusingly, it's Name who's gone for the Infinity Edge build on Lucian. I don't know about that one. Infinity Edge is an item that gives you a massive power spike. It's like the death cap for AD carries, but it comes so long after rushing it that you give up so much early game pressure that Trinity Force, it hits an earlier power spike. It's going to be incredibly strong against just the components of Infinity Edge, and especially with those 4 kills. It's Kog'Maw looking incredibly strong. Dragons up! EDG in position. We'll see if Young Glory can reposition themselves as Koro jumping in onto Dian Gun.
Young Glory had such a huge control of the dragons in the previous game, so they will most probably want to take this. We'll get to see how they managed to do it this time around.
Teleport's going down there as Kale's looking to come back down for this dragon fight. Clearlove is stealthed out, but he's actually running away from Young Glory, trying to get out of the fight. He went in way too early and couldn't find the rest of his team for follow-up. Clearlove's able to live, able to escape, but the dragon's not going anywhere but into Young Glory's pockets. But is this an elaborate ruse from EDG? Do they split up around the fight and try to bait Young Glory to go in for this dragon? I don't think this is a very good bait. Now, Zed actually might die on the other side of this one. Gets the auto attack. Barely alive. The glitter land. Sniping him down there. Didn't see who got the dragon there, but it's going to be kills coming Young Glory's way as they are positioning perfectly. Tank line in the front, DPS in the back, and actually maybe looking to escape from this one. Re-engage there from Koro 1, and it's going to be a massacre. Finding 1, finding 2, and now... Wait, Kog'Maw's turning this one around. Why would Genlong stop this? He's going to get taken down here eventually. There's the Icathian surprise chasing down a Lulu. Will he get the kill? No, the Zhonya's Hourglass. Edward Gaming find a 5 for 3 and a team fight win.
And a little bit too bad for Young Glory. They didn't know when to stop. I know why Genlong came back to this fight. He found something for himself, but it was just too much for him to take. And, well, it's still good that they got a little bit of the kills. And they did get the dragon. That's what you asked about earlier. So that's still okay. They still come out on top in the gold. But giving away an ace so early might be a bad thing. Especially giving a lot of gold to Rengar and Lucian.
When Lulu was about to die down there, and so Kog'Maw's gonna kill him, and I was like, okay, that's a dead Lulu. No amount of shielding is gonna keep her alive. And then she turns on the Zhonya's. I was like, why does she have a Zhonya's this quickly in the game? She skipped the Holy Grail. So now we're gonna get a team fight replay. Intervention onto Skarner keeps him alive, but the damage just backs on off there. And even though Kog'Maw's staying in the back, Genlong doesn't actually auto attack it hardly at all during this fight until much later on. So here's the re-engage there. Yancer has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. And now this is what's confusing. At this point, Genlong is just saying, look, screw it, I'm gonna die. We're turning around and getting some kills here. So they flash back in, and number one in the backline is just dishing out so much damage. Finds it onto Koro1. Last auto attack takes him down. Now he will eventually die to Lucian off the back, but he gets a kill. Genlong gets a kill as well. And overall, a lot more of an even fight than I would have expected, but a big win for EDG. They needed to win a team fight to stay relevant.
Yeah, that's a nice confidence boost for them, but still, Young Glory are in the lead. They are in the control of this game. They have the turrets lead too.
And they got the dragon that fight too. They smote it down right before the fight started.
So everybody calm down. They do just have this 6-0 dragons right now. Overall in this best of 2, it's all about the dragons. They do get all the objectives. They do have a lot of gold. 3k gold difference still in favor of Young Glory.
But as that last team fight showed us, Young Glory, they're still mortals. So no, let's not forget that they are still down towards the bottom of the standings in LPL. Need a long way to climb, but if they're going to make it to the top, they have to beat the teams who are already there. Nothing like climbing to the top off the people who well, climbed there before you. So now Jiangun rather, is taking this opportunity to kind of pull a Koro1, who just took down the top turret. He's looking to take down the bottom. Actually leaves the minions to finish it off as he repositions back towards mid. Big convergence there by Young Glory. Looking to keep that mid turret alive. Jiangun's really uncertain. He does not know where to go here, and I don't think the idea to defend this turret is necessarily very good idea. Although Edward Gaming back off, sensing this big rotation from YG.
And we have seen as that yesterday he did build a Guardian's Angel just to be effective in the split pushing, so maybe Jiangun will go for the same thing once again. So that is still a good thing to see him split pushing, to see him doing something for the team, even though he died so quickly in the fight around the Dragon Pit.
EDG, they've started to group up. They've got 5 alive and in the same place, but Young Glory are actually going for the split push. You can see the armor boots, the only defensive stats that Koro1 has. If he goes up against that Jiangun Zed, he is not going to have a good time, and that is the solo lane that is chosen to split. We'll see if Young Glory... Oh, it actually might be Yancer who caught out, although it might be EDG that's locked in there with him. Yancer's still very over-aggressive. Gets crit down there. There is the culling. A nice two-man shockwave, but Clearlove's going to jump right in onto the backline, onto Genlong. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and he is going to die for free. Yancer gets a nice heal and speed up there from number 1. But just very bad positioning. Yancer way too far forward.
Yeah, it's a good thing you pointed out on Koro1. He doesn't have any defensive stats at all, so if he faces Jiangun, he's gonna get completely destroyed. If he faces number 1, he's still gonna die. He doesn't have any magic resist right there, so that's a nice thing to point out. But still, Young Glory once again losing the fight. They're losing one after another. All the members right there, and it doesn't work too well. They need to maintain the lead because EDG will definitely grab the opportunity and come back into this game when possible.
Kind of questionable positioning from the Young Glory bottom lane. And they lose yet another fight, so it's tied back up in kills. Still a little bit of a gold lead, but the big difference, the functional difference in that the gold difference is the top lane. You can see just now a needlessly large rod picked up by number 1's Kale. And even though the recall from Koro1's going to get him some extra defensive stats, probably looking for chain vest. All right, so he's looking to split against Jiangun, so he'll buy some extra armor, but he's just so far behind in items. The last whisper just getting completed means that chain vest is not going to do anything.
All right, so just look at Lucian at the moment. He was 0-3-3 in the lane. Right now he's sitting on 4-3-4. He came back massively, so EDG, they definitely do have the chance of coming back in this game overall. And Young Glory...
Yeah,
Yep.
is this the first dragon for EDG? Nobody's gonna contest this. Diangun's still split pushing. The rest of Young Glory are up around the Baron area. And Diangun's overextending. He's drawing all the pressure to him. And this might actually be Young Glory starting off the Baron. Clear Love's all the way bottom. Can they do that? Diangun, he's gonna die here, but he's actually going to bait the Baron for Young Glory. EDG's gonna try to stop this from happening, but it's already down to half health. There's Yanfu starting the fight with an impale. It's gonna be way too much. The Zhonya's is way too low. Or is it? Yu is still alive. Last crit comes out from Kog'Maw, and it is enough to find at least a 1-for-1, but a very, very brilliant strategy. Young Glory bait out the fight bottom. EDG fall for it, but still, even fight overall.
Yeah, and things like that happened already in the LPL. The teams traded a dragon for a baron. This time around, it doesn't work out quite this way. Young Glory are a little bit too afraid of EDG's lineup, and, well, it's okay, kind of okay, because the dragon still went down in favor of EDG, but they still maintain the little lead. But now that you look at it, they do have the 2k gold lead, but they had about 5k before they lost the dragon fight previously.
Well, they lost a dragon fight, and then they lost another big fight mid, too, so... Young Glory still on the losing end of a lot of fights. They pulled even in that last one, but they still need to work on vision control. They do not have enough to start this Baron. There's even a pink ward in the back before they even start auto attacking it. So Young Glory gonna take a lot of damage off of this one. Another pink ward for 5 auto attacks, and yeah, Young Glory, there's no way they can do that. They didn't even try to clear the wards off to the side either. That Baron area probably has like 5 to 6 wards just placed down. There's 3 pink wards just inside the pit, and Young Glory gonna try to protect them, but I don't know if that's necessarily what they need to do.
Yeah, definitely. First of all, they do need to clear the ward coverage, and second of all, I think that they should stop looking for the fights, since they are starting to lose them by a lot, and they can't really give away any more kills to Edward Gaming, because
It's
then
a ward massacre. There's 4 wards about to die up here. Young Glory, they're defending these 3 wards. Yancer on the misfire, holding the trigger too tight, throws the solar flare over the wall. And now it's actually Clearlove that's going to jump in somewhat aggressive, and it's actually going to be Yanfu there to tank up pretty much everything. Needs an intervention, but it's an intervention on Kog'Maw, who's exhausted, so he is not going to be dishing out too much damage. But now, they jump back in from Clearlove. There's the active crit down, and now Koro's going to take the Cathian surprise, so will you, but... no Cathian surprise damage at all. 4 for 2 off of a great engage. Clearlove finds that one. A stun turnaround there by Yancer, but he is pretty dead. Full ace coming the way of EDG, and now they will look towards Baron Nashor.
Yeah, once again, they come out on top of a fight. Name was so close to death, though. But yeah, they want to fight. They will head towards the Baron pit. And EDG, they might be close to coming back to this game. And Young Glory, they had such an awesome performance in the previous best of 2 against World Lead right now in the first game, but this time around something is definitely not working out. They're coming back to the old Young Glory where they have a lot of positioning issues, and that costs them the games.
And just look at ward coverage issues. It's just lit up like a light bright down there. Young Glory, they just get wombo combo. The exhaust through that Kale ultimate means that even though you can't focus Kog'Maw, he's not dealing any damage. And then as soon as he comes back vulnerable again, Clearlove just gets the brush gank. That's a horrible place to fight against the Rengar, because he's always going to be able to close with your AD carry. And Koro then just getting the burst damage down. Flash over the wall, counter flash there. Koro sets up you for... the ace, and off of the back of that, EDG on the Baron come out back in the lead. So 3 lost fights in a row. The gold lead now ahead as well for Edward Gaming. And all that early advantage, all the things Young Glory worked for, now no longer relevant.
Yeah, they're completely gone. And just to give credit to Yancer once again, he had a perfect ultimate. The Glacial Fissure hit like 3 enemies.
That was SCZF.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Yancer screwed up his ult. He solar flared over the Baron wall. Didn't have it up for that fight.
Alright, I was still thinking about Yancer having this Braum in the previous game. Of course, I meant Braum. So in this case, it was FZDF. Landing his Glacial Fissure on 3 members. Then, luckily, hitting the Winter's Bite on Kog'Maw, which gave a lot of damage and the stun later on when they killed him. So he missed someone right there in the front of the fight and hit the Kog'Maw on the backline. That was really lucky, and that definitely granted the kill to EDG.
Now Diangun's splitting, and he's actually going to take down the second tier top lane or bottom lane turret, which is just really great for him. So split push successful, but can the rest of Young Glory weather the storm? Clearlove's gonna get the bait in here. Flash out from Yansir, or from Yinfu, but he's just gonna get bursted down. How do you catch something that catches you? Well, you just blow him up. FCZF now way overextending. Look at Genlong in the back there. He's gonna flash away from Koro. Koro's taking up the turret in a horrible position, and Diangun's on the base turrets. He's trying to take it down. Koro's gonna die there. He gets the giant growth, but that's just Kog'Maw eating him for breakfast. Recalls en masse from the surviving members of Edward Gaming, and they're gonna lose an inhibitor off of Diangun. Holy, what the? How do you do this? Young Glory, perfect. Everything, and a very bad attempt at taking that turret by Edward Gaming.
I told you so. Young Glory just need to stop looking for the fights that are not favorable for them. And they are not looking for the fights. It's EDG who are looking for the fights, and Diango just goes for the perfect split push. This is just incredible. And Young Glory once again coming out on top. This is, I don't believe it.
They just gave that charity dragon to EDG to make them feel good about themselves, and they're like, all right, we'll start taking all the dragons again. Edward Gaming, they get off the split push, they get 2 turrets and an inhibitor off the 4v5 fight. That was a 4v5, keep in mind. Young Glory grabbed 3. It was actually only 2 kills that they got off of a... actually, there was a 3... yeah, it was a 3v5 because Yinfu died to start it off. Edward Gaming, please, what are you doing? Dive in that mid turret was maybe the throw that is going to get Young Glory back in the game.
Well, there was still the Baron on EDG, and they do still have the lead in the kills. So finally, they started building something up, but Young Glory, they started thinking. I feel like they started thinking, really. They had the bad positionings in the team fights, and they were doing it over and over and over again. Lost like 3 team fights in a row. Finally, stopped doing that. Started thinking, sent Diangun to split push like he's supposed to be, and it worked out.
And yeah, now Diangun's right back to the split push. He's going to try for this top lane second tier turret, and he gets it. Are they just going to let Zed win the game by himself? He's taking down like 4 turrets now just off the split push, and it's still looking good. As now the rest of Young Glory, they come up top lane to back him up. Genlong just gets like 4 autos off on the turret, and it's down to a quarter health, so... Or 3/4 health, rather. Takes off a quarter of its HP. Edward Gaming just now desperately trying to clear out the waves from in front of their base, but Young Glory just waiting for that bottom lane to push back in. Baron and Dragon are both down. So what's the next move for Young Glory?
For Young Glory, they just need to keep doing what they are doing right now. Gathering the turrets, they do have the inhibitor in the bottom lane, so in case of a Baron, they might have a big opportunity to take it. But I just wanted to say that EDG, even though they got the Baron, even though they won the team fights, they cannot even come out of their base right now because Diangun is such a beast on this split push.
Now, Clearlove was going to try to go in there. He just couldn't get anywhere. Just completely stun locked there by Yansir. And the picture-in-picture is going to show us Zed in the top lane. He's splitting against Koro 1's Irelia. And Irelia just poses 0 threat to this Zed. He could probably one-shot him if he really, really tries. But maybe the extra armor that Koro picked up is going to keep that from really being an issue. Of course, the rest of the team's there. The culling coming out from the mid lane. But look at those crits on Aname. Holy cow, he's down to a quarter of his HP. And now, oh, Young Glory, they're going to try to engage here for the inhibitor. Big giant growth onto Clearlove, gets a lot of CC down. But look at that death mark onto Koro, just gets blown apart. And there is Yangun finding that kill. The engage continues off of some masterful pushing. 2 inhibitors down now. Young Glory are looking to take 2 games off of Edward Gaming as Yansir. He started the fight, he tanked it up, and now he is low health, letting the rest of his team finish things off. Young Glory, they want that second Nexus turret, but Yu's trying to turn this one around. EDG might have the defenses that they need to keep their base alive. Oh, okay, Yansir's just gonna die for free, and oh, Young Glory, did they stay too long? Now it's Yinfu, he's gonna be going down. 2 nice kills there, 2 for 1 exchange, but more importantly, 2 inhibitors down. Young
Yeah,
Glory.
they do have the 2 inhibitors and they do have 1 Nexus turret, so they will have the pressure, and still, even though EDG managed to kind of save the base, kind of come back, they will not be able to close the game or even take the Baron, I think.
Alright, kind of need to take a little bit of a break here. Recompose myself. Young Glory down in kills, but up in gold. And more importantly, those 2 inhibitors down. Of course, now it's only 1. Bottom 1 does respawn, so... I don't know who you give the MVP here to either team. When you look at Clearlove, he's been the one engaging all these fights, and for the turnarounds, I guess you give it to Name for EDG, just because he's started out 0-2 and came back to a 6-3 score. But for Young Glory, like every single time, nobody's focusing Gen Long. It's like they kind of forgot the Kog'Maw existed. No kill! Why do you do this? Intervention's trying to keep number 1 alive, but number 1 is going to get number 2'd on, as now EDG take him out, find a perfect pick, starting up the Baron.
Yeah, it's still 2 inhibitors down. Actually 1 right now, so they still have a little bit less pressure in the bottom lane. Yeah, number 1 just completely razed.
But EDG can't go for the Baron now, even though it's a 4v5, because they're missing a mid inhibitor, and if they try to Baron right now, Young Glory's just going to win the game. Now, they're trying to bait YG into pushing down mid and getting flanked, but instead, Young Glory, a little bit too smart for that, they just go back to the same recipe. They're like, alright, step 1, you grab the Paprika, you get the bowls out, and then you send Diangun down to split push. I think that 3rd step's probably the most important, and it's been a recipe for success so far in the game. We'll see if they can take down that bottom inhibitor again.
Yeah, if they can, then it's definitely gonna be an advantage for them. But yeah, it's not only the mid inhibitor that is down, it's 1 Nexus turret, so it doesn't even matter that the super minions are coming in from the middle lane. They do not have the other turret to focus on. They will always focus on this 1, so they will take it down really quickly, and EDG have to be careful for it to not happen, or else they will lose the game easily.
Now, Young Glory with
so close.
With this Kog'Maw can do Baron incredibly quickly, but they're really just there to force a fight. They get Clearlove's ultimate, and this is huge. Kog'Maw needs to be very, very careful, does not want to get jumped on, but Clearlove, he runs out of ulti, and look at the bottom lane, it's a death mark coming in from Diangun. He's trying to burst down Koro 1. Koro gets a stun and backs away, but look at this Zed, he's just way too strong. Starts to turn things around, but meanwhile at the Baron pit, EDG are desperately trying to make things happen. Diangun is splitting them apart right now, way too big to handle, and EDG, they can't find an engage on the Young Glory at the Baron pit, and now they're forced to disengage. EDG are running back to their base. They're trying to stop Diangun, but nobody can 1v1 this guy. Koro was forced back to the Nexus turrets because the second Nexus turret just went down. They're losing the game off of just the minions, and Young Glory get a free Baron, a second inhibitor, and everything they could possibly want.
And this is just going so perfectly for them. They might be really close to winning that game. And EDG, they came back, just as I said, but Young Glory, they have woken up. They started sleeping in the middle of this second game. Started to be the former YG once again. But now they are close to winning that game, and I'm rooting so much for them.
Are Young Glory just like robots or something? Like you charge them up and they're good for 2 or 3 games, but then they kind of like run out of batteries, and then like you can see the Young Glory coach like sprinting across the LPL stage with like a handful of batteries. He refuels YG. There's like, oh man, we forgot who we were, and now they're right back to where they started with an incredible amount of damage down onto Name. He gets that shield from Face of the Mountain, and there's 1 inhibitor, 2 inhibitor, and no Nexus turrets to stop this. The stun on Koro 1, he's gonna get burst down, but there's the death mark onto Clearlove instead. Diangun has nothing to worry about because he can turn invincible, and there might just suicide here onto the Nexus. 1 champion's gonna die, FCZF's down, Koro's about to die. Young Glory are gonna take 2 games off Edward Gaming. The Legend Killers continue their incredible run. 1-1 versus OMG, 2-0 World Elite, 2-0 EDG. What is up with Young Glory?
And this is so good for them right now. They managed to win 1 good game in the previous season, but this time around it looks like they are really stepping up. It's not just a flash of good skills. They will be taking down the top teams over and over again. Congratulations to the winner, Young Glory. Oh man, they are just so strong right now.
I cannot wait to see who they give this MVP to coming into our second series, but This has been an incredible event. Keep in mind, we just saw the same thing yesterday, so you gotta know that going up against the bottom teams, maybe you underprepare, and to a large extent, you can attribute World Elite's loss to that. So I didn't think Edward Gaming were gonna make the same mistake, but they come out of their game versus YG with a 0-2, something that none of the Chinese commentators predicted. So, man, I am excited to watch. It's a rare occasion when you're just super pumped up to watch the lowest teams in the standings play. But Young Glory has been eating their Wheaties, drinking their Jamba Juice, whatever it is working, and it is working incredibly well. So, impressive performance once again. Just to reiterate, a 2-0 victory for Young Glory over EDG, and a pretty incredible upset. Look forward to seeing them again. But that is going to do it for our first games of the night. First series is over, and we're on to series number 2, as World Elite look to redeem themselves from their 2-0 loss versus Young Glory yesterday as they face Starhorn Royal Club. We'll have that game and a whole lot more coming up after a relatively extended break, so don't go anywhere, because in about an hour and 10 minutes, that's right, there's about an hour-long break between sets. We'll come back to you guys with our second series of the night, and that is, of course, Starhorn Royal Club versus World Elite.
I've been losing sleep, dreaming about the things that we could be. But baby, I've been praying.
On the EDG, or on the Young Glory faces, they know they may not have earned the title Legend Killers just yet, but they are well on their way to turning upsets off the top 4 teams in LPL.
And it's just incredible. Setting us up for the next game. Young Glory definitely are looking for a 2-0 victory over Edward Gaming, and that would place them quite well in the standings. They will be chasing LGD, they will be chasing Invictus Gaming, and that would be a fun thing to see if they jump over the first lineup of Invictus Gaming, because they are the sister team.
All right, now coming into game number 2, picks and bans. It's Young Glory in the blue, Edward Gaming in the red. And honestly, Young Glory, there are 2 big things I'm looking for here. I gotta say, Gragas is a big one, and then also I want to see the Skarner out of Yin Fu. I feel like his ability to engage is really what's started a bunch of team fights that Young Glory have won, and especially yesterday versus World Elite, it destroyed the mid lane. And honestly, the mid lane is what makes or breaks a situated and everything ready to go for him. Just gonna go ahead and talk about the way picks and bans are working out so far. So big respect bans, the Yasuo and the Gragas, 2 of Young Glory's strongest champions. Those are taken out. But what big power picks are left open for Young Glory?
Well, they definitely want to grab this Kog'Maw, but well, we'll see. Actually, just to talk about the issues that are happening, it is not Yinfu who is having problems. It is Clearlove, and once again, this guy is just making LPL start late every single time.
Diangun's like shaking his keyboard. It's like there's stuff stuck inside. I don't know what's up with that, but yeah, Clearlove. If you guys remember from yesterday, I believe it was Clearlove who had issues yesterday too with his hardware. So he has been on the leading edge of several technical difficulties. We'll see if he can get his resolved here tonight.
Yeah, and we'll get to see what Young Glory just decide to pick up right here. Of course, they will want to get this Braum once again. They will want to get this Kog'Maw, especially since Genlong is just feeling so well on this champion. And this, what went so well for them? Of course, it is just their worst members stepping up their game to be the best members, actually. Because what Genlong and #1 were able to do in this game is just incredible. Diangun was there, of course, but he was kind of at the level of his other teammates. He wasn't the best, biggest guy in the team. Finally, because Young Glory were struggling with that.
Right, well, speaking of the biggest guy on the team, the pick and ban phase went so well for Young Glory. They got just about everything they wanted. Like, they got the Kog'Maw pick, which is, in the absence of Lucian, something that come on. Zhenlong. I always forget his names because they have Chinese characters, so I have to remember them. But Zhenlong, yeah, he got his Kog'Maw. And more importantly, speaking of big man, top lane Gragas for #1 just showed up that fight. There were 2 or 3 fights where Young Glory would just kite away from EDG, and then #1 would still be at full health, so they'd put everybody who was low health behind #1 and just re-engage the fight, and it worked out so well. You can see big smiles. There are a lot of games for Young Glory. They counterpick it a lot. They make sure that they gank it a lot, and that is a strategy that Yinfu has done extremely well. Whether it's just pushing, whether it's ganking, he's on top of things. But for Edward Gaming, what are they looking for here in this picks and ban phase? You can see now the Gragas drawing the last ban. No more Gragas for #1.
Yeah, that is interesting. You brought up Skarner to the table, and he was actually banned in the previous game, so now it gets left out open. And now we do have the first pick coming out from Young Glory. This is definitely going to be an interesting picks and bans phase, because I'm just interested in what Yangon will decide to pick right here. Once again, the Yasuo ban coming out right there, so he will not secure this champion, but the same goes for you. He will not have Ziggs. Able for the taken.
I want to see if we see any more of those big move speed compositions coming out well, really either team. You got KL, you got Lulu. They both do that, and we're actually going to drop out of champion select here just a second, as it does appear as if Yinfu is maybe having a few issues with his computer. So when we get him all back, really kind of the story. Young Glory completely controlled the objectives. I think they were 4 for 0 for Dragons before the 20-minute mark. Like, that's pretty hard to do. And we're going to go ahead and talk about MVPs. They gave it to Yancer, had a 90% kill contribution, running around everywhere, making the plays happen, finishes the game 3-2-8. So an impressive score there. If you had to give a second MVP, I'd say you give it to Yinfu. That guy had crazy engages, the likes of which EDG were just unprepared for. So got to turn things over to Nero here to give your analysis. What went so well for Young Glory in Game 1?
Well, maybe let's not only talk about the kill contribution and Yancer just making everything happen. He was the one to tank everything up. I don't know if you remember the bottom lane fight where he was the only one to soak up the damage from the shockwave. He was always in the front line just defending his team, and that was the key thing that gave him the MVP. He was just there to make Young Glory just win the game.